Hello, I'm Alexandra Gerard, and I'd like to take a minute to tell you about Linda Allen. Linda Allen has been involved in the alternative health industry as a medical researcher, health consultant, certified nutritionist, and a freelance writer for nearly 17 years. She is also the author and co-author of several best-selling alternative health books and dozens of articles. Holistic health is her life. It's all she's ever done. And why do I want to tell you about Linda Allen? Because she's devoted 12 years of her life developing what might be the most powerful Candida yeast infection cure system ever created. This system has already been used by thousands of people just like you to permanently cure their yeast infection and achieve permanent freedom from Candida. Linda Allen is highly qualified to give yeast infection advice because aside from being a certified nutritionist, medical researcher, and health consultant for 17 years, she used to be a chronic yeast infection sufferer, battling with this problem for years. She experienced all the painful, annoying, and embarrassing symptoms associated with yeast infections: burning, constant itching, discharge, rashes, occasional trips to the doctor, and taking a myriad of prescription medications and over-the-counters that showed little to no results. After she was diagnosed with systemic Candida yeast infection, she realized that many of her other conditions, such as sinus problems, cravings for sugary foods, and constant lack of energy, were all coming from the same source: Candida albicans overgrowth. She started the long, frustrating road of trial and error until she finally pieced a complete and comprehensive holistic system that would in turn be used by thousands of yeast infection sufferers to permanently cure the cause of yeast infection. From the age of 31, Linda Allen became obsessed with the subject of holistic health and nutrition. She wanted to know everything there was to know on how to cure yeast infection and prevent it permanently. Linda Allen became absolutely consumed by this quest, so she started studying, and hard. She bought every book on dermatology, skin disorders, hormonal production, detoxing, dieting, and nutrition that she could get her hands on. Linda used to spend hours at the library swallowing stacks of books, journals, and magazines about holistic health, skin disorders, candida, allergies, heartburn, thrush, and nutrition, and reading every word. She literally read hundreds of medicine books from cover to cover. Linda's library quickly grew to over 280 health and nutrition books, and she had read every word almost to the point of memorizing them. But Linda didn't just read. She interviewed countless of other yeast infection sufferers and endlessly picked the brains of every doctor, herbalist, homeopath, and naturopath, kind enough to lend her minutes of their time and fragments of their expertise and knowledge, only to find a solid solution to her severe Candida yeast infection. She tried everything. But Linda knew that book knowledge and interviews are one thing, but they are not the same as knowledge from actual experience. Scientific facts, figures, and theories weren't enough for her. Linda tried every yeast infection treatment known to science and natural health with conviction, desire, and hope that it would make a difference, that it would finally eliminate her yeast infection. Over the years, Linda spent a small fortune trying every type of product and treatment you can think of. She tried herbal remedies, tree lock, tincture, cell food oxygen, tonics, detox diets, vitamins therapy, antibiotics, hydrotherapy, aromatherapy, macrobiotics, reflexology, Chinese medicine, vegetarianism, the whey diet, magnet therapy, the mucusless diet, the blood type diet, and whatnot. Linda even went on a very strict anti-candida infection diet for weeks and weeks. It was very limiting and had its benefits, but as soon as she ended her diet, her Candida yeast overgrowth came back with a vengeance. Yet Linda still suffered from severe yeast infection. The vast majority of the above treatments and so-called cures either made Linda's yeast infection condition worse, worked only short-term, or simply didn't have any effect whatsoever on her candida infection condition. Moreover, most books on candida yeast infection had either recommended taking a product to kill the candida or offered partial dietary advice along with vitamins and special herbal supplements. These approaches don't work either. Linda knew this because she tried them all and still suffered from severe candida yeast infection. Linda realized the hard way that there were no magic pills or fix-it-all products to candida yeast infection. It may work temporarily on the symptoms, but the candida yeast will still be there and the infection will come back very quickly. Now, 12 painful years and thousands of diligent work hours later, the candida yeast infection puzzle was finally solved. After more than 12 years of diligent work and in-depth research on a daily basis, after experiencing several eureka moments, and after a long process of trial and error and dozens of interviews and self-experiments, Linda Allen applied her years of training to finally uncover the solution to candida yeast infection. From all the truths and evidence, misconceptions, and lies, the yeast infection puzzle was finally solved. It took Linda more than a year to polish and refine her discovery, and in the end, Linda applied herself with great hopes and passion, and to her sheer amazement, after a few weeks of following it, Linda's yeast infections completely disappeared. It took Linda Allen many years and a lot of research to get her where she is today. To know exactly what works and what doesn't. Yes, after desperate trial and error, countless of useless treatments, disappointments, and agony, a simple holistic system opened the doors to Linda's new and much brighter yeast infection-free life. She was also excited to see that her sinus problem had diminished, and so did her fatigue, heartburn, and sore back. After years of suffering, Linda was finally free from candida yeast infection,